Hi, I'm Michael McKenzie, and this session is on WebQuest. By the end of the presentation, you'll understand the uses of a WebQuest and how to create a WebQuest using a digital format. The focus of a WebQuest is to be web-based linked formatting, meaning that you can link to any website, especially articles and videos. WebQuests are supposed to be inquiry-based lessons. So students will discover their learning by finding the material and the information. Students will synthesize, analyze, problem solve, and be creative throughout the lessons. So it's not simply just putting facts down. They're going to discover their information, analyze the information, and then answer the question. WebQuests are not simply focused on complex problem-solving procedures, such as math problems or research reports. Those are too complex for a WebQuest, and they're not simply just to play a game on a website. Some of the parts of a WebQuest include introduction, task, process, evaluation, and conclusion, but all of those parts are not necessary for every WebQuest. There's multiple ways to create WebQuests. Some of my favorite are the DIY in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, which we'll talk about during this session today. There's also pre-made lessons in questgarden.com, which is connected to webquest.org. And then there's an advanced option, which is also DIY in Google Forms and Microsoft Forms. So we'll talk a little bit about all of those today. The first thing I want to review is the pre-made lessons. So if you go to webquest.org, there's a link that'll bring you to questgarden.com. And within questgarden.com, you can search for examples and just type in any of the search terms that relate to what you're teaching. For example, if I'm teaching elementary and I'm teaching about dinosaurs, this is one of their pre-made lessons. And you'll notice all of the parts, introduction, task, process, evaluation, and conclusion, are built into questgarden.com's lessons. So you can click through them, go to the links, and the evaluation part, which is a rubric, and a conclusion just to wrap it up. So this is one way to get a WebQuest. It's an easier way, but they may not have the information that relates to the standards that you're teaching. So that's why I like the DIY better, because I can make it how I want. This is a human body WebQuest that was designed for 7th grade students. You'll notice at the top that it has an introduction which talks about the human body a little bit. And then it has their tasks, that it's a virtual assignment and that they're going to read, watch, and analyze the websites. You'll also notice that it says to pick your favorite color other than black or blue to write your answers. And the reasoning behind that is all of the other words in this document are either black or blue. So when the teacher is grading it, they'll easily be able to find the students' responses, because students will write in the document as they're answering the questions, and they'll submit this document to their teacher. So one of the first things you'll see is the question about musculoskeletal system, and it says read more about the systems of the human body. Now this is just a website that talks about the human body, so students will read through it, and as they're reading through it, they'll list the systems that are on this website. The next task says to take a look at this video about the skeletal system. So if I click into that video, it brings me to a Google Drive file that was saved for a video. Now it doesn't have to be a Google Drive file or a file in OneDrive. It can be a YouTube link, and it'll bring them to a YouTube video. So after they watch that video, they have some tasks, some questions to answer about the video, so pertaining to the video. So you'll notice here that it does say watch another short video. So I'm going to remove this so you guys can see how to add a link in the question. So all you have to do is highlight the word or sentence that you want to link, everything that you highlight is going to be linked. And you can do one of two things here. You can right click and you can choose Insert Link. From that point, I'll paste my link and apply. So you'll notice that it turns blue and underlined. That means that it's linked. I can also click on it just to check. Another option is, once again, you're going to highlight. You could go up to the top and click Insert Link. Either way, it's going to bring you to the same place, and you can insert the link and it's going to turn blue and get underlined. So students can just click right on that link to bring them to that website, in this case, a video. Now, this isn't a YouTube or a Google Drive link. This is to a website that shows them a video on kidshealth.org. So any website that you want to link to, or a Google Drive file or a OneDrive file, can be linked in the WebQuest. So the rest of the WebQuest goes pretty much the same. In this case, they have to fill out a table and fill in the blank, and lots of different options that are embedded inside of this assignment for a human body WebQuest. Now, the human body WebQuest doesn't necessarily need to be in a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document. I can also create this in a Google form. So this is created in a Google form. So Google Forms are great because you have multiple types of questions that you can ask. They're also super simple to create. So this is the same human body WebQuest. I'll show you from the student view. What you just saw was my view as a teacher. From student view, they have the same information. They have the introduction and a task on their first page. And then in the second page, they have the same links that they can click on after they read through the website. Then they can answer the question right in Google Forms. They can watch videos that are embedded directly into the Google form. And after they watch the video, they can answer the questions. In this case, we have all short answer questions, but you can also have multiple choice. So the only downside of using a Google form is filling in the data table that you saw, or drawing. So those are two downsides of using Google form versus using a Word document or a Google Docs. All of the questions, though, and the links are the same, so the WebQuest idea is the same. So you'll notice I separated this into the different types of systems, so as they're going through it, they can answer the questions based off of those systems. So let's go back to the editing side of the Google form. And you'll notice that there are questions built in here, but there's also a response tab. And this is why I like Google Forms or Microsoft Forms, because it gives you the students' responses individually, or you can create a spreadsheet. It'll automatically create a spreadsheet with all of their responses on one spreadsheet. If you have multiple choice questions rather than short answer, which is not recommended for this purpose, but you can make it a quiz and have it automatically graded. So there is an option to create multiple choice questions, but you most likely won't create multiple choice questions for a WebQuest because you want your students to synthesize, analyze, problem solve, and be creative. And the best way for them to do that is by having a short answer or a paragraph answer response. So that's our information on WebQuest. If you have any more questions, please reach out. My email is msmckenzi@coastal.edu. And I hope you get to use these with your students because students really enjoy WebQuest in class. Thank you for watching.